This is Carson TV News, your capital city news source.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Carson TV News, your source for Nevada's capital city news. I'm Courtney Bloomer. On the heels of a TriNet investigation that netted 300 grams of methamphetamine and resulted in 9 arrests last Thursday, a 23-year-old Carson City woman was arrested Saturday evening in the area of Telegraph and Carson Street on suspicion of felony drug possession and misdemeanor possession of drug paraphernalia. According to the arrest report, officers conducted a traffic stop on the vehicle because the driver was talking on a cell phone. A K-9 search of the car came back with a positive alert to the woman's purse. Inside the purse were 2 loaded syringes, a broken glass pipe, and a small baggie with white crystal residue. Ongoing efforts across the region targeting drugs have resulted in a number of high-profile arrests recently across the region. Join me each Monday for a new episode of It's Your City. Each week, I'll be sitting down with Carson City's community leaders to explore all the exciting things that are happening in Nevada's capital city. Tune in on Charter Cable, Channel 193, and video on demand on carsontv.org. Here are a few highlights from this week's interview with Carson City Mayor Bob Kroll. So with that in mind, we're really making great strides at creating a more diverse economy. We're moving into more technical and manufacturing and like you're talking about, biotech. One of the things that goes along with that is, of course, having a skilled workforce. We've got some great this new program sounds very exciting. We're going to get some of these people trained, but additionally, we want to draw new manufacturers, new companies, new tech companies into our community. And one of the ways that we know can help that is by having a very livable community, a community that people want to come to, that's going to draw these companies to come here. One project that we're working on, of course, is the project downtown. Do you want to talk a little bit about that and what your hopes are for that with regards to job creation in Carson?
I think that, quality of life, my position has generally been, government doesn't create jobs, but what government should be doing is creating an infrastructure where people feel comfortable living, working, and raising families. And that covers the whole spectrum of people who are, young professionals, skilled trades workers, to retirees, the whole gamut. And we need to create, need is the wrong word, we should be creating an environment where people feel comfortable in that. And the downtown, in the corridor improvement plans that are on the books right now, that'll be, I think, completed by, at least one portion will be completed by the end of next year, is designed to try and create a downtown, a core downtown area that is attractive to people wanting to locate here. And I'm proud to say, that part of the Capitol Mall project that is being considered for the property behind the Nugget is very enthused by the fact that we are doing things to create a more livable and workable quality of life downtown. And that's one of the reasons, I believe, why they're looking at that area. And if that happens, and I have every reason to believe that it will, I hope that it happens, that will change the dynamics of downtown immensely.
The Carson City Sheriff's Office Motor Patrol is stepping up their presence on Carson City streets. The patrol holds monthly riding sessions to aid officers in handling their motorcycles. Carson City Sheriff Ken Furlong stopped by and rode with the patrol as part of the practice sessions. Carson City Sheriff Sergeant Scott McDaniel said the practice sessions, through a series of road obstacles and pylons, help the motorcycle officers maintain levels of balance in different situations. In June, Motor Patrol officers from around Nevada and California will be in Carson City during the Legends of the West, the annual car and motorcycle festival, to compete in riding demonstrations. The Carson City Motor Patrol has done its own demonstrations throughout the year to help raise money for the unit. These demonstrations help offset the costs for training competitions like the Legends of the West. Next up, we take a look at regional sports action. The Western Nevada College Wildcats won all 4 of their baseball games this week. Here's Keith with more in sports.
The WNC baseball team won the first game Friday against Mount Hood Community College 3-0, then completed the doubleheader with a 13-3 victory, before going on to sweep the series with 10-3 and 10-5 wins on Saturday. The Wildcat softball team split a pair of games Friday with Snow College 1-7 and 7-4. then finished out the series with 2 wins on Saturday, 7-0 and 5-4. In Carson High baseball, Cody Azevedo drove in 3 runs to spark the Senators to an 8-5 win over Reed on Tuesday. Thursday, in the first of 2 games on the week against McQueen, the Senators lit up the scoreboard in the bottom of the first with 7 runs to set up an 11-4 win. In Saturday's game, though, the Lancers came through with a 2-run walk-off homer in the bottom of the 7th to beat the Senators 5-3. The Carson High softball team lost a 10-0 Mercy Rule game to Minogue on Thursday, then were swept in a doubleheader against Reno 10-0 and 12-0 on Saturday to drop their record to 1-5 in league play. And finally, in golf, Dalton Butler shot a 3-under par 69 to lead Carson High to a 3rd-place finish at Genoa Lakes to open the season.
Spring is here and the weather is warming up. People are hitting the links. Star Nixdorf of Paradise Salon, Spa and Wellness has our health and wellness segment this week on strengthening your core to help out with that golf swing.
Hi, this is Star with Paradise Salon, Spa and Wellness. And today I brought a whole bunch of stuff to show you, to give you some examples of ways to strengthen your body to play the game of golf. And we're talking injury prevention so you can really enjoy the entire season. I know we're a couple of weeks away from when all the tournaments begin and the fun stuff is out there on the field. But here we are in a room, imagining we're in a swimming pool. Water is your friend. It has resistance. There's specific muscle groups that you use in golf, and some of them involve your chest and arms and shoulders. And you can practice your swing in the water and use resistance or drag equipment as well as buoyancy equipment. This little monster here, when you hold on to it and you give it a good swing, you can work the upper back, the shoulders, you can work the core. You're working those muscles that you're going to use out on the field, but guess what the water does? It slows you down. And you can focus on your form and your power in a safe environment. So using something like this, I call them aqua helmets. Kind of looks like a warrior's helmet, doesn't it? This is drag equipment. You can put cuffs like this on the ankles and then work out your bigger muscles with more resistance in the water by having the cuffs on your ankles. You can put on a flotation belt. Snap it on, get into the deep, and run. Run, get your cardiovascular strength up, strengthen those legs so that you're ready to walk from the first fairway to the last. Well, I know you're going to probably take a cart. But golf, the way that we can strengthen your body in the water and get it ready for playing some fantastic tournaments. Or maybe you're just a weekend warrior and you love just getting out there and strolling the green safely and strongly. Try using buoyancy equipment like aqua jogger belts, resistance equipment like Aqualogics, and get in the water and use that water for your resistance. We're going to think about strengthening your gluteus maximus. These are key muscles in your swing, right up here in the buttocks region, as well as out here in the thighs. That's where your power comes from in your swing. You're going to strengthen the latissimus dorsi, the big muscles in your back. You're going to also strengthen the pectoralis major. So when you're working in this direction, you're strengthening the pecs. And when you're working in this direction, you're strengthening the lats. They're the 2 front and back sides of your body. But the thing that really holds them all together is your core. C-O-R-E, core. It is the thing that brings those gluteus maximus muscles, your lats, your delts, and everything into action when you're out there on the fairway. So that's our lesson for today on how to prevent injuries for your golf season. Use the community pool, go into the hot springs, or come by Paradise Salon, Spa and Wellness, and all of this equipment that I've shown you is there for you to use when you purchase your pass. So come on down to Paradise and let's have some fun.
The Polar Plunge up at Zephyr Cove last weekend was an exciting event that raised over $75,000 for the Special Olympics. Carson City Chamber of Commerce had a team plunging into the freezing depth of Lake Tahoe on Saturday. Here's the footage. Our new segment features a little local nostalgia. Carson Memories shows 3 times each week on Charter Cable 193. Here's a short snippet with Doreen Mack interviewing longtime Carson City resident Kay Winters.
So we're talking to Kay Winters about downtown Carson City history. And one of the things that we had discussed was the memorial downtown and the fountain in front of the courthouse. And so Kay, tell us about that story.
Well, the children used to love to walk by there because people actually did use it as it was designed. It was designed for dogs. Children could drink there. But we didn't feel it was very sanitary because actually it was for horses as well. And my father-in-law rode downtown on his horse a huge amount of time, and I saw him there numerous times letting his horse have a drink.
So the kids could swim in there but not drink out of there. Okay.
Anyway, it was something that the children just loved.
I'm hoping that we could get that reinstated. That would be so great to have that up and running. And
This week's Hidden Gems segment features Carson Hot Springs. While this hot spot is a longtime favorite for locals, some people may not be aware that this relaxing oasis is right here in town. This gym, maybe not so hidden, has been delighting residents and visitors alike since the early 1800s.
Harlage Parkway, go north on Research Way, then turn left onto Old Hot Springs Road. Carson Hot Springs, natural hot springs, one of the least amount of sulfur, I understand, in any natural hot springs. We drain the water here every day and fill the pool back up, so there's no chemicals. It comes out of the ground, I think, 121 degrees. We have some spas, some private rooms in the back that are different temperatures every day. We can reserve those a couple hours ahead of time. And it's very nice, very soft water. People love the water. And we have happy faces when they leave.
Wedding season is right around the corner, and invitations may start arriving in your mailbox soon. Modern Manners hostess Lynette Gardner brings us tips on RSVPing for weddings in the first in a series on wedding etiquette.
The wedding season is approaching quickly. This is exciting news in some ways, but frightening in other ways. I myself was married just last June and attended 5 weddings in addition to my own in 2014. I fully understand the fears. How soon is too soon to RSVP? What should I do about a gift? If I'm the one getting married, how do I handle the thank you notes? What is acceptable behavior for a wedding, a reception? It can be enough to make your head spin. Have no fear. I am here to help. Having experienced my own day of wedded bliss recently, attended several weddings, and researched these questions thoroughly, I feel as though I can offer some helpful insights. Let's address the idea of the RSVP first. The engaged couple should make the invitation clear. In other words, it is important to be specific as to who you want to invite. The address on the envelope should tell the potential guest who is actually invited. An example of a wedding where children are not invited could be Mr. and Mrs. John Smith. If the entire family is invited, it should read the Smith family or Mr. and Mrs. John Smith and family. If you are inviting a single person, please make it clear whether they may bring a guest by addressing the invitation to Mr. John Smith and guest. Another word to the wise, be clear about when you need a response. You will most likely need a head count in order to be prepared in terms of food, seats needed, etc. Now, if you're a guest, there's some advice for you. RSVP is a French term, meaning "Respond s'il vous plaît." In plain English, the phrase literally translates to "respond please." Do the couple a favor and respond as soon as possible. A couple of weeks before the wedding, I felt like I was on the phone non-stop, trying to get answers from people. Believe it or not, that was not the highlight of my time leading up to the wedding. Many times, the couple needs a head count well before the day. In some cases, such as mine, the couple cannot invite everyone they would like to invite, so they have waitlisted people whom they would love to invite, but the numbers need to be in a certain range before they can. They will appreciate your consideration right from the start. Another thing to consider as a singleton is that if the couple has invited you but not made it clear that you may bring a guest, it is preferable to ask. In many cases, the person may not have any problem with you bringing a guest, but it is always advisable to make sure. Remembering these key things will help the couple and the guests out immensely. Weddings can be very stressful occasions, so to help reduce the amount of uncertainty is a wise and helpful decision.
Thank you, Lynette. Lots of etiquette concerns for those who are planning on attending or planning weddings. That's it for this week's edition of Carson TV News. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Courtney Bloomer. We'll see you next week.